This is Reagan Productions. My wife and I started this company in 1991, and I had a...
What was that senior project?
It was called Wavelength. It was a rock and roll TV show.
Can you give a little bit of background about some of the other famous people that have been inside this building?
Ronald and this is Ronald and Gerald, and they're just getting ready. In fact, today, this afternoon, I'm going down to the city council.
Was this like fully active, this studio?
49.
1949.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they had a weaving show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, there it is. They would have, Ronald Reagan was a pitch man at the time, and it was, God bless her. She, she stood by me when in the darkest of time. Even if it's not a great living.
Sure.
If you're getting by, you're paying your rent, you're you're able to have a life and go to dinner on your anniversary, that kind of a thing.
Okay, today we're in Phoenix, Arizona, and heading to a company called Randy Murray Productions. So they are a video and audio production company that tells stories and makes money by helping others tell their stories. So it'll be a really unique interview today, just to see a real professional that's in this space and how they've built a business around telling people's stories in the Phoenix Valley. A little bit about the casting and
well, first studio, we have about a dozen tenants here, and they're all in different businesses. So sometimes you come here and it's like a ghost town. Everybody's off doing their thing. If you're a production company, you might be shooting back east. We have a tenant who does summer camps.
Okay.
So all summer long, they're shooting back east at all these camps, and then all winter, they're here editing.
Okay.
So and that's the kind of thing. If you're doing a big production and you're doing a casting, the place could be packed. It's kind of funny because you'll come in and it might be all women of the same age auditioning for the same part, or all men of the same age, or the same look. You might come in and it'll be all large men with beards.
Yeah, right.
You'll have 20 large men with beards sitting around in the lobby, and it's like, okay, that's weird. And then when you're shooting, the places can be crazy.
Yes.
A typical shoot might have 40 people on set, in the cast and crew, and this seems like a big building, but when you get 40 people working, it fills up quick. Yeah. You have producers working, and crew doing this, and actors waiting to be called in. So it can be quite exciting at times and quite dead at other times.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's first studio.
Yeah.
This is Randy Murray Productions. My wife and I started this company in 1991, and it's just been a great ride. We've always been in Phoenix, even though we shoot all over the world. It's just been a real joy to get to make films for a living.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how do you get started how did you start in a company like this? This is pretty unique what you do.
Yeah, it is. And I was, a kid looking for a career, and I was thinking I wanted to be a secret agent man.
Okay.
And I was majoring in law enforcement.
Yes.
And I did not like it. It wasn't a good fit. And a friend said, you should try television production. And so I enrolled at Arizona State University, ASU. And they had a video and film department. And I went to school there, got a job at Channel 8 as a student, and was a set builder. And my senior project, I did a senior project, and I sold it to Channel 3, and I had a...
What was that senior project?
It was called Wavelength. It was a rock and roll TV show, and we, basically, me and a bunch of friends, we bought some cameras, and we, back in the day when you had 3/4 inch, it was big, it was a big thing. And we would go to concerts, The promoter would invite us to concerts. We'd film little concerts. We'd interview the star.
Yeah.
And we'd put it on Friday nights and play music videos. We had a house band, a comic troupe, a comedy troupe there, regular, called Aho Repertory. And every Friday night at midnight, we would have a live audience and do our show, and it was a hit. It was a big hit. But I cut my teeth on production. I learned how to do stuff, and I learned that I was a good fit. That this was my thing. That I really loved telling stories. I loved making the art for a screen, the motion art. It was just great, and I got to really experiment because I was the producer director. I was, my show. I was the entrepreneur, the business owner, and. It was just an exciting time and a great way to start my career.
Right.
That really taught me how it's not what you do that's so important, it's what you do that's needed that's so important. What is somebody willing to pay for what you do?
What does the marketplace want?
What's the marketplace?
What will they pay for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's when I decided I wanted to be a producer as much as a director. I wanted to control my finances.
So what would you say has been the greatest challenge in your entrepreneurial journey?
Staying after it. Being entrepreneurial, like I said, is really like being in a gig economy. You're a freelancer. Only you're a freelance business. People think of it as much more glamorous than that, but it's really just about getting work and keeping the ball rolling. I often joke that I'm like a tire. Our business is like a tire rolling down a hill. As long as it's downhill, we're upright. As soon as it flattens out, we're going to fall over. And so our business has been upright, and we've been rolling downhill, and it's just great. And we've picked up momentum, and we've gotten better projects and stuff like that. But the hardest part is when it slows down, that you don't bail. That you stay with it, that you
as well? Or
no, we bought the building in 2001.
Okay.
And it was, like I say, it was radio stations at the time, and it was built as a TV station in 1949.
Okay.
And so it's a very historic building. This is the first TV station in the Southwest. This was the first TV station in Arizona. They simulcast all the way from Mexico to Canada.
Can you give a little bit of background about some of the other famous people that have been inside this building?
Yeah, so because it was at the birth of television, when they built this place, people flocked to it. So presidents came, Kennedy came, Reagan, before he was in politics, was here. President Eisenhower came. Lots of Congress people came. I joke that Muhammad Ali and Cassius Clay visited. And they did. They were regulars. Muhammad Ali was a regular on the Kitty Show that was here, Wallace and Ladmo. And this is, Wallace and Ladmo and Gerald. And they're just getting ready. In fact, this afternoon, I'm going down to the city council, and they're voting to turn the name of this street into the Wallace and Ladmo Street.
Okay.
Wallace and Ladmo Way.
Yeah.
And in honor of Wallace and Ladmo. So it's a very, very historic building. And then in the 70s, the TV station moved up further north, and this became just radio stations. And this is, is a very popular couple of radio stations, and then they got consolidated, and we ended up buying the building in 1991 or in 2001, and moved in 2002.
And you still have, you mentioned you have tenants here in this building.
Yeah.
And you're also there's still films being done here?
Yeah. So we rent the studio to production companies, and then our production company also does stuff. We've done scenes for full-length feature films. Our company does a lot of feature documentary work, and we do the drama part of those things. So if you watch a feature documentary, you see what's called recreations.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we do that. We do that for companies all over the world, and we will often shoot scenes in here. We were shooting. We had built an FBI office in the studio and had actors all playing the FBI. We've done local police stations. We did a bathroom in a hotel. We did a hotel bathroom where a mobster drowned a guy in the bathtub, and so we built the bathroom so that you could remove any wall and shoot from any angle and put it back in. And so it was very fun. And in fact, we even did elevated bathtub so you could shoot up at the guy as he drowned. So the studio gets used a lot for that sort of thing. We also get used a lot for our still photographers.
Was this like fully active, this studio?
1949.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and it was, it was the only place in the Southwest. It was like hopping. Yeah. Things were, and it was very, very exciting. Like the graphic artist goes, he's doing drawing signs, and they're holding it in front of a camera.
Right.
And that guy goes, "I'd like to have a kiddie show," and the manager goes, "Okay." And it was those guys, that sort of entrepreneurial, that sort of let's make it happen, let's do something nobody's ever done before spirit that sort of empowered me to go, let's do a rock and roll show. There's nobody doing rock and roll on TV. Let's do that. And it became this huge hit and started my career.
Yeah. At 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And these are some of the pictures that were taken on set.
Yeah,
or in the studio, I should say.
We brought this back to studio status. The Arizona Historical Society put up this display showing, the different things, like John F. Kennedy was here. Here's the whole crew, and all of that, and they had a weaving show. So there it is. They would have Ronald Reagan was a pitch man at the time, and he was here, and then the Wallace and Ladmo thing started. And that became the most famous show produced here. And then Steven Spielberg was on that show and got his stuff broadcast, his first movie broadcast from here in the same space.
So with your different businesses, has there been an investment that you've made that didn't work out, that's caused a lot of stress? Is there a story there with some of the challenges you've had to go through on your
Well, so I'm in the television business.
Yeah.
And so, we develop TV shows. We develop, we've had 2 TV shows that got picked up. We've had 2 feature documentaries that got picked up. And those were very successful. So when you taste a little bit of success, you have a show. We did a show about how wars get started. It aired on a Discovery Channel. And and it's still out there making money. So we love that. When you get a little taste of that, you go, I want more.
You're right.
And so we have developed so many pitches, and these pitches are expensive. They can range from $5,000 to $105,000 to develop just the sales pitch.
Gotcha.
And we've done probably 100 sales pitches that did not sell.
Wow.
And so, I know failure like the back of my hand, and I could have taken all that money and put it into a retirement account or bought something else, and it would have been great. But I couldn't have because this is who I am and this is what I do, and I'm more happy failing at my art than succeeding at something else.
Wow. So looking back to, if you could put yourself back in time when you were 20 years old, what advice, anything that you would tell yourself at that time that you've learned over this time?
Buy more real estate. What's the joke? Buy stock in Yahoo.
Right.
But the, you can't see the future.
Right.
There's just no way to see the future. The thing that I feel that I've done right is I focused on my family and I focused on myself. And
And explain that. When you say focus on yourself, what do you mean by that?
You know, there was a time after Wavelength, our first rock and roll show failed. It got canceled. And it was a mercy canceling. You know, the station knew we were losing money.
Yeah.
And they said, we're getting great numbers, you're a hit, but you know, you're going to kill yourself with this. This is going to be the downfall of you and your career. And so they canceled it. And it was heartbreaking. And I didn't have any income. You know, I was struggling, and my wife was carrying the weight. You know, she had a day job, and you know, and it was, you know, God bless her. She, you know, she stood by me when in the darkest of times. And then a friend came to me and said, "I got a job if you want it in an assembly line," and it paid phenomenal for the at that time. I was just like, it was more money than I thought I would ever make. Right. And I didn't take it.
Wow. How old were you?
I was 25.
Yeah. And stuff was going, you just went through kind of a big failure.
Big failure.
You need income.
Yeah. You know, it was horrible.
Okay.
And you know, it was hard. I mean, and Teresa should have left me then.
Wow.
You know, but she didn't. She was mad.
She was upset because
I had a chance to
make good money with this job.
Well, you know, it's the most basic thing. I turned down the opportunity to be stable. And that just seemed so wrong. But I said, no, I'm going to stick to what I do. This is, I love with this. I can do this. I can make it happen. And, you know, and God love her, she stuck with me. Wow. And supported me for, you know, it was still another several years before I was making, you know, a decent wage, you know, before I was able to support my family at all, you know, or even contribute to my family. Sure. And, you know, it's just awesome that she was able to do that.
So last question, because I know we've covered a lot in a short amount of time, but what would you say to someone that has a dream, is younger, and has fear in terms of starting out on that dream? What would you say to them?
Well, you know, you have to look at your passion, the love, what you want to do as a business. It has to be profitable. You know, you have to focus on that. And that was the thing that turned it around for me, was that I was able to say, I love this, and so I'm going to take my art and I'm going to make it profitable. And that meant I was doing corporate videos, I was doing weddings, I was doing everything, but I was still doing my art, and I was projecting, I was improving my skill set.
Along the way.
Yeah. And so take what you love and find a way to make a living doing that. And then if that's what you really want to do, even if it's not a great living. Sure. You know, if you're getting by, you're paying your rent, you're you're able to have a life and you know, go to dinner on your anniversary, you know, that kind of a thing. That's okay. Yes. Because life is long. Yeah. And you know, and it seems like when you're young, 10 years later, it seems like an eternity. Sure. But it's not. Right. It just, you know, keep going and do those 5-year plans, and always keep in mind the profitability of those efforts. You know, it's not what you want to be doing in 5 years. It's what you want to be doing and how much you're going to be making. And that enables you to do the art. Sure. Remember, it's dollars that we're in the game for. If you can have fun making dollars, that's great. If you can't, just make dollars.
Right.